Hi everyone, it's Miriam Ortiz y Pino here, and um, I'm a certified professional organizer and simplicity expert. Thanks for bearing with me again while I'm a little bit later than usual with today's episode of More Than Organized Monday. Today I'm going to talk to you about a baking center. Setting up a simple and well-curated baking center in your kitchen can help keep the clutter to a minimum and really focus you on where and when you want to be baking and cooking and putting your items, so you know exactly where to go to find the cookie sheet and exactly where to know exactly where to go to also find all the different utensils you need for decorating those cookies. So I want to tell you first that at morethanorganized.net you can find some free simple tips. You can sign up there for free simple tips and get some even more ideas on how to keep clutter to a minimum in the rest of your house and things that'll just make your day go smoother. And there's also several articles and opportunities to learn more about how to set up a kitchen and a pantry so that you can make cooking and eating more fun. But to focus back on the actual how to set up a baking center or figure out the best way to approach setting up a baking center is to think a lot about grouping everything you need to do the baking together as much as possible. I find many of my clients have just scattered things around the kitchen and pantry because of some of the unique shapes involved in baking items, or in terms of the materials. They will have some baking pans that are metal altogether and the ones that are glass altogether and some that are ceramic altogether. And really all of those things can be used for the same purpose. So instead of picking to own everything of every material, pick which ones work best for which kind of baking. It's kind of hard to make cookies on a glass cookie sheet, but it's easy to make brownies in a glass square baking dish. So think which is your favorite kind of material for which kinds of baking you do, and keep your favorite one of the type of pan you need, not the material one of each material, because chances are you never really use your ceramics and glass for real baking. And you that's a timer, by the way. Sometimes setting a timer or knowing where your timer in the kitchen is a good idea too. So set your timer regularly, know where that baking timer is. Sometimes you have things that need to bake for two different amounts of time, so you want to have a good timer. um, but the clutter piles up when you have a bunch of different things out of a bunch of different materials and they all serve the same purpose, and you tend to go to one of those types of pans. So, which muffin pan do you really use? Do you need 7 different sizes of muffin pans? Can you get away with using one and filling it less sometimes and more sometimes? Can you get away with deciding you're never making mini muffins again in your life? I don't know. I did. No, I just have the one muffin pan. It saves a lot of space. So keep that in mind. And then stack things. Sometimes contraptions that hold things sideways are great. I've seen a couple really good ones lately. And sometimes just stacking them is the way to go. The trick is when you stack things to make sure you put the small ones on top and the larger ones on the bottom, even if you use the large one more often, because when you don't, you end up with a pile that falls over every time you open the drawer and it gets frustrating or things get stuck. So make sure if you're going to stack, you have easy access to get in to pull out the pile, grab the one you want, put the rest of the pile back. It's the habit of always neatening and straightening and making things easier for next time or to put things away that's going to make a bit of difference. Also, having multiple sets of measuring cups for dry and liquid measures and measuring spoons. Most of my clients have several different styles, and they say, well, I use these when I make sauce and I use these when I make a pie. And really, they serve the same purpose. So go with a better quality stainless steel option and you will get a wide range of uses out of it. What's the worst that could happen? You have to run to the sink, rinse it out, and run a towel over it to dry it off? Seriously? That's so much easier than fighting with 2 or 3 sets of stuff every time you go to cook. Now, the one exception to that rule is if you have kids and you're teaching them to cook, having the extra set for a second pair of hands to share is a nice idea. But why make them use the crappy set? Just get another set of the same ones you have so you know where that is. You don't need 12 different sizes of measuring cups. For the liquid, you don't need all 12 different sizes of the Pyrex measuring cup. Get a 1 cup or a 2 cup or a 4 cup and go with that depending on the size of what you usually make. Because it's the same measure, just in different sizes. So what's important is that you can measure that amount, whether you pour it 4 times or you pour it once. See what I'm saying? No need to have all the intermediate sizes. Okay, that's how to store and get creative a little bit with what you're going to do. On the other side of the equation, make sure you actually bake pies if you keep a pie pan. If you never bake pies, there's no need to have a pie pan these days. You can use other things for reheating or whatever it was you were doing in that pie pan when you weren't making pies. All right, again, think through how you cook, how you bake, gather like things together, pick the best long-lasting materials for the job, and go down to 1 set of everything. See what happens. All right, thanks for coming by. Check out morethanorganized.net, and I will see you again next Monday. Bye!